Ooh, rocking. Get Valiant episode number 126. We're here in the middle of July. This year has flown by.
How hot is it there?
Depends on the day and sometimes the hour.
Well, like, what's it get at like normally, like in the middle of summer?
Yeah, I mean, again, like you'll have days that are in the 70s, sometimes 80s, 90s.
Oh, so it's
Um,
not like very consistent where you live.
oh no, not at all.
Holy shit, man! It's like
Um,
high
the
90s every
humidity,
day here.
the humidity is always horrible here.
Yeah.
It's all just water in Minnesota, so yeah, everything's humid and it sucks.
Well, yeah. Summer has been a brutal pain in the ass here. It's been so hot, and we leave our air conditioning on. We don't even have it up high. Like, it's got to kick up pretty hot in this house for the air conditioning to come on. And I just am like, oh, it's just still too hot. And then I go outside. It's like we hit like a blast furnace, man. It's so hot. It sucks.
Yeah, I do not miss that weather from being on tour in it. Um, and the days that are hot here, you know, there is a difference between dry heat and humid heat. Dry
Yeah.
heat dry heat sucks, but humid heat has that oppressiveness to it. It's the worst. Anyway, that's what we should be talking about is the weather. Um,
Yeah. Weather podcast. Let's do that.
yeah, absolutely. Get temperature? I don't know what our name would
Get
be. Get
weather.
weather. Perfect. So speaking of getting weather, we actually has nothing to do with getting weather. We got some awesome stuff from Valiant that we can't get into too hard. We can talk about it a little bit, but you got some stuff that you can talk about if I'm not mistaken.
Back at like Emerald City, I was talking with some employees, and someone said they would like send something out to Archer, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. They're like, email us, we'll get something out. How cool is it that you have a kid named after a character, things like that. And so those emails did not get responded to. And then like I got like we were talking about stuff, people were griping, and it just was on my mind at the time. And so I had typed something about it out on our group. And Greg from Valiant was like, you know what? Like, I'll take care of that for you. And I didn't think like it would be anything like too crazy, but it was pretty crazy like what showed up. So like a box came today, not even like a little box. It was like a big box. And inside was like another like one of those like a stack of shirts. So Archer got a shirt. I got a shirt. I got a shirt that won't fit me because it might be too big. But I mean, like they gave me like a couple shirts, and then they gave Archer like a stuffed animal, like a bloodshot bear. And what's really cool, and I have this here, it's framed, it's gonna go in Archer's room by his crib. But they uh they gave him a Archer Armstrong, one of those old blanks that has like I think bloodshot on the back of it, and it's signed by everyone at Valiant. It's just really cool. It's a really touching thing to get. And it's got a drawing of Archer on it, and it just blew me away, man. It's like the nicest thing that I didn't even expect it like this. And Valiant's always good to us. You know, they're good to me as a fan, but like this is like such an like above and beyond like what a publisher would ever do for a fan that it just kind of like it was really awesome. So like all this stuff, I'm just like, where can I put it in Archer's room so he can look at it? Because like this book's awesome. It's got a drawing of Archer on it and all the signatures from the staff. And then the backside, even though I already have it framed, is like a bunch of drawings of Roku on the bloodshot side. And then there was like a bunch of little sketch papers that just had like drawings of Archer on it. So huge thanks from the bottom of my heart to everyone at Valiant for that. Man, it's just one of those things where I think like if I was like a hardcore Marvel fan or DC fan, who would care? Like who, for any of us, like I feel like all the time Valiant does things for its fans, whether it's like recognizing us for like not when I say us, I just mean like fans in general, not like just the podcast. Like like they recognize when fans go above and beyond and send them gold books or things like that. You know, so I just thought this was awesome. So big thanks, Valiant, for taking care of my little one who's here
Yeah,
because
co-host.
co-host is here as usual because he doesn't want to go to bed. He's too excited from all of his like loot since he scored. So
Okay.
yeah. So then the other thing, which we can't really talk too much about because we can't talk about what it is that Valiant um, is making the rounds with some of the Valiant podcasts, sending out books to them to get us all excited about another book coming out later this year. And we can't say yet what it is, but from my opinion, and I don't know how much you got into it, so I don't know how much I should say versus what you should say. But I'm pretty excited about what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at like right now this moment, but like I looked at it a bit today after we talked, and I'm pretty excited for it.
So yeah, I mean it's a new book that because it actually this is the crazy thing, and I don't know what I did with it. I have one of those. Oh, right here. Remember Valiant Breakthrough? Remember that like push that initiative where they
Yeah,
gave us these books? Like we haven't even gotten the last. Like Killers hasn't quite dropped yet, and I've already like they've already put out into the world like the Bloodshot Ash Can. Um, we know that another Roku series is coming. We
Doctor
know
Mirage,
Dr. Mirage is coming. Um, we know that there's supposed to be a visitor book. Like
Exo Manowar.
Exo Manowar has already been announced. Like there's so much stuff coming, and then getting another new book dropped on us, and then basically Valiant sent it saying, "Hey, we just want to know if you actually like this, and you know, tell us what you think about it." And I think that's pretty cool to get the opportunity to do that. So I struggled a lot with the fact that reading something new could spoil, and knowing that it's not coming out for a while could spoil other things that could happen between now and then. So I struggled with that, knowing it was that much in advance. But um, I took one for the team. I took the opportunity, and I read it. I spoiled whatever. I don't know how much it actually spoiled anything, but I read it, and honestly, like the art is phenomenal. The writing is amazing. Like I think that this is another great book that's going to be coming, and um, that was the other thing I was worried about. I say this every time we get like these advanced books. It's kind of dangerous to send out these advanced books, especially like really far in advance, because if it's not worth reading that far in advance, if it's not worth hyping up like that, you're going to end up having a bunch of people going around saying, "Yeah, this is disappointing, and it's probably not something that anybody wants to read," and that's what everybody's going to hear for a long time. But I can honestly say, like from now until whenever whatever happens with this book, um, I'm stoked about it. I think that it's going to be really good, and obviously, I've only seen a part of it, but um, yeah, I'm really excited about it. So definitely, I do think that knowing that stuff like this is coming, all the other stuff that we've talked about, um, I think is really exciting to know that this is what we've got to look forward to. New books coming, get shit getting dropped on us out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
pretty stoked.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's like one less ash can I have to buy. Cool, but also like there are things that I've wanted from Valiant. Like I mean, we talk all the time about things that we want to see, things we want, creators we want, characters we want, and this marks off some checklists definitely for me. My
Oh
only
yeah.
question I didn't read through like all the paperwork, or if I did, I forgot already. um, I don't know if this is an ongoing title versus like a mini series, and I had meant to clarify that, but I didn't because I'm
I
lazy.
think I think that this is supposed to be an ongoing, but it's really tough to know with Valiant sometimes. That is one thing that I think that we've all experienced, that ongoing titles don't always last super long. Shadow Man was supposed to be ongoing, and unfortunately, we don't have it anymore. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can also have other kinds of, I don't know. I mean, as long as a book is coming out, like I would say Faith, if we're getting things announced with Faith, like when Jody Hauser was writing stories with her, that was essentially still on, like it was an ongoing story, even though it wasn't monthly. So even if something like that happened here, like Britannia, where you get a little bit, like I'd still be happy. But regardless, I think it's going to be badass, and I can't wait to see what else is coming next.
Yeah. So I mean, like I was saying before, like, if you, I mean, I don't know if anyone would ever pick up what this book is based upon like any discussions that we've had, but this is one of those things where I'm like, I'm very happy with what this is going to be. So
So,
we'll hopefully get to talk more about it in like I think 2 weeks.
yeah, sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, but very
So
cool.
I'm looking forward to actually being able to talk about it, but then we'll still have to wait until whenever it actually comes
Yeah,
out,
we
and then
still
we
can't
can really
reveal it.
talk.
We can only like reveal what it is, or like,
Yeah.
well, we won't reveal it. Someone else will reveal it. But you know what we're saying.
But I think that the thing that's cool about this is that we know that good books are coming. Like and they've taken the leap to, and like Josh said, we were told that, this is getting sent out to, the podcast for people to take a look at it and to give their honest opinions. And I'm sure that, retailers and whoever, like, they give these advanced views to. I think that I think that it makes sense if the book is going to be good, and I think it gives us an opportunity to see what kinds of things they've got, in line for us. And I don't know. I'm really excited about the books that we've got coming up. Anyway, we also have books to review. I don't know if there was anything else that we needed to jump
No,
into topic wise.
no. I mean, San Diego happened, but there's never really any news out of there from for Valiant. So
Sure. Yeah, my understanding is they did an awesome panel, like the Valiant fans panel, and
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. And from everything I heard, I didn't dig into it too deeply, but from everything I heard, that went really well, and um, that's always cool to see creators getting involved and staff and everything. But yeah, we got a couple of books that we can review. Pretty stoked to talk about these. We've got Livewire number 8 and Psylords number 2. Um, so we will get into spoilers for anybody who isn't familiar with what we do on the show. Um, so hopefully, hey, and I also want to shout out to the people that we've got hanging out with us. I saw Sean is here. Sorry that we're doing the Wednesday thing and it doesn't work quite the same for you, but unfortunately, it works better for us and we're in control. Um, but yeah, and then Ryan and Hoosier from Hoodoo is hanging out. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us, and feel free to interact. Hopefully, you guys have read the books. Like I said, Livewire 8 and Psylords 2, so we can all revel in the awesomeness there. Um,
yeah. I
yeah,
hope Ryan Pond read up on Psylords. I'm just gonna say that right
right.
now. Hope you read up, bud.
So I don't know. Do you have a preference which one we talk about first?
Nah.
Okay, Livewire number 8. So this one is not at all what I expected from this issue. Because if I'm not mistaken, this is the end of the arc, and I really, really didn't expect it to go down this way. And I think that honestly just makes me like it that much more because it's unexpected. I think that this book has been way more about Livewire as a character than it has been about, writing a superhero book. And I think that that's something that I loved when I first got into Valiant, right? Like, I wasn't reading a Batman book or a Superman book or, even a Wolverine book or anything. You're reading character oriented stories about, characters that have these abilities. So it's not, I don't know. Hopefully, what I'm saying makes some kind of sense because it feels like it doesn't. But That's what I loved about Valiant from the beginning, and I think that that is what Vita's capturing in this book right now. Yeah, there's a lot of superhero stuff going on, and there have been like issues that were nothing but like one big fight, basically the entire issue. But
Yeah,
it's still a really deep character story, and I think that that's what this issue accomplishes.
yeah. So a little recap on the issue. So if you remember what happened last issue, Livewire and Jada they duke it out, and eventually, um, Livewire gets kind of tricked by Phoebe and gets taken out. She's tied up. So this issue, she's able to grasp some kind of technology, even though Serena tells her like the room's totally sealed off, you can't get any technology. But she breaks free. Meanwhile, Phoebe is being led somewhere too. The issue kind of flashes back and forth between what's going on with Phoebe and with Livewire. And then Livewire gets into another scrap with Jada again, which turns seemingly fatal. Jada might be a goner. And then while that's all happened, everybody has kind of cleared out. Livewire's got no lead really as to where anybody is, And like I thought this was pretty solid, like Eric was saying, this was not at all what I expected. Because this almost reads like to me, this almost reads like this is not the last issue of a storyline. This reads like the end of the second act of a storyline. Where this one, to me at least, feels like what happens in the next couple issues is really going to tie in with this. Whereas when the first arc ended and the second arc began, they definitely read like two different stories, I think. Now, I don't know personally like what happens in issue 9 yet. I haven't read any of it. But I'm just saying with the way that this ended, I felt like there's a lot more going on here than just, at the very end when a Nikki's birds show up in
So,
Livewire. No. So
right,
it's like
and I
there's
mean,
more going on than just that.
well, and Amanda's still taking care of Phoebe. Is that girl's name?
Phoebe's the little girl, yes.
Okay, yeah. So Amanda's still taking care of her. She's doing what she can, and I feel like, I mean, she basically lost in this arc, right? Like, I mean, can we call this arc like she lost? But that is also really cool because we all in our lives have things that we struggle for, things that we sacrifice for and fight for, and then we still lose. And that makes Livewire that much more relatable to me, I feel like. So we're not reading this typical Superman story where everything always works out at the end and by the beginning of the next arc the status quo is completely restored. This is Livewire is a real character who is breathing and living and growing and evolving over time based on her experiences. And I think that that is credit to some amazing writing from Vita, who picked the character up from exactly where she was and is moving her forward in a very organic way. And I'm absolutely loving this book.
Yeah, the part that's interesting about that is like like her losing, like she's losing the entire time to Jada in this, and then basically, with what I'm seeing in the art, Jada just makes a mistake and gets impaled on some rebar or something like that. And like Livewire didn't have her on the ropes or anything like that. Like it was just basically like a mistake was made, and which is too bad. I liked her as a character. I don't know like what kind of future the character would have really had. Like oh we're gonna see her pop up here and there. Probably not. But like I thought she was like a good foil in this story arc. And I also feel like Vita is creating Serena to be something a little more than just like a one arc villain. I mean, obviously the character doesn't even pop up at the end, so she's somewhere else. I like that, So one of those things I always kind of harp on Valiant stories about is like strong villains or villains that come back. I feel like we don't maybe know everything that's with Serena, but we're gonna see her again probably like in the next arc. Um, Good issue.
Yeah. For me, I would say that this is a 4.5 out of 5. I think this is
Hmm.
really strong. Definitely something I very, very highly recommend. And I'm really excited to see the next arc. And I just really hope that there's more after the next arc because I'm fine if it ends like at issue 12, but I hope there's more than that.
I agree. I would give this, I'm kind of torn. I want to go like 4 or 4.25. I don't like doing the quarter ranks. But I'll go 4.25 on this. I like it quite a bit. Um, I do hope. I mean, I kind of like with everything. I'm like, oh, just keep going. And we'll see what the sales are like. But one thing we didn't even touch on was Kano's art. It was
Oh,
awesome.
absolutely.
I
100%.
mean, yeah. I mean, and it's always hard. Like where I like the script, I like his art. And it's like it's not a competition, but like everything's just really solid on this book. And I think that this is one that I think will be remembered pretty fondly. Like hopefully there's more after 12. If not, this would make a pretty good deluxe edition, though, at least so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that yeah, if it ends after the next arc, I'm sure it would be great.
And
But
and
until we
dare I say that you could probably pair this up with Secret Weapons in a collected edition pretty well too. Just saying.
yeah, I think that that would be pretty awesome. Even though it's different writers, I think that Vita picked it up perfectly. And it does
I
not
think
hurt
the art
that that first
transitions
arc.
really well
Yeah,
though.
yeah. Having that art on that first arc. But the art in this arc has been perfect as well. I think that it really fits Livewire as a character. And I think that um the fact that Vita's writing is keeping the character or is staying focused on the character and character development and then pairing that with the art that is so expressive, I think it's absolutely perfect. Like that,
Well, and oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it would be difficult to make this book much better.
Yeah,
I almost gave it a perfect score, but I don't know. It is really, really, really good.
yeah. And my last thought on this was just that where Vita picked up the character with Amanda being a villain, big time villain. She after Harbinger Wars 2. And I know this next arc, at least on the little preview at the end of the issue, it's called Hero, and it's got live art right
Yeah,
there. It just makes you think that like maybe this is going to be one of those parts in the entire story where it's like, she is going to maybe come back to being that hero that she needs, or at least maybe not like as much of a villain. I mean, she's done like some villainous stuff. I wouldn't call her a bad guy or anything like that, but like at the same time, like not everything she's done has been so great, at least in the eyes of some. So we'll see. Like I said, this has been an awesome book. So I feel like Vito's done no wrong so far. Let's keep it going.
absolutely. So, Psylords number two, um, shit's crazy, man.
That's your
It is. That's my review. That's my review of Stylords number two. That shit is crazy. No, I mean, we've got Renato Gaitis on art. So if you've seen what Renato Gaitis's work looks like, you know exactly what this book looks like. And um, it's so detailed. It reminds me a little bit of like Clayton Crane style, but he doesn't do it as uh, he uses more texture, I think, than Crane does. But
yeah.
I think that the art in this is so consistent, and it's a crazy mystery escape story. That's really what this is. So 2 issues in, and we know there are going to be at least 12 issues of this, I'm pretty sure. So 2 issues in, when we know that this is a mystery escape story and whatever, we don't have any idea what's going on still. We really don't know what most of the things everybody's talking about mean. And I'm along for the ride, man. Like, I'm not going to say that this is my favorite book. I think that this is, there are a couple other books that I'm more excited to pick up every month, but this is definitely a really, really solid book that this issue has me sold on this title more than the first one did.
Yeah. So a little bit of a recap. Um, they're still in the prison or ship that they're in. This like crazy construct is all. I don't even know what you would even consider it, but like they break out and they get on land and there's like these really weird cat people. They can't understand them until they use their abilities, and then their abilities unlock like what these people are saying to them. and then they get confronted by like this crazy like, well, I just want to use Cthulhu, like a little like Cthulhu looking dude. He's not like
Yeah,
a
sure.
giant atrocity, but he's got like weird tentacle face, and they have some like conversations back and forth, and then there's the big brouhaha, and they dispatch of him, and well, it kind of sounds like his buddies are not going to put up with it, so they're coming. And that there's well, I feel like that description doesn't really like make it the most exciting. I thought the writing actually was really solid on this, and I would be amiss if I didn't comment on my favorite part of the book, which is where the one dude, the green guy, comments that they're called the Astro Friends, which
Yes.
which literally did make me laugh out loud a little bit because I thought, how awful of a name is that? It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that he suggested it. Everybody else was like, "That's terrible," but the cat people were already like, "Oh, you're the Astro Friends? Awesome!"
I also like the fact that the cat people were so relieved that they were there because they're like, oh, you people are gonna die. We'll be good.
Yeah. Now that you've
So like,
saved us, we're fine. But you'll die, but we'll totally remember you. We'll talk about you for generations for sure.
yeah.
No worries.
So that's that issue. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not loving it yet, but I'm liking this. I thought this was a step up from the last issue. I did enjoy this issue quite a bit. So, um, I feel like this would have just might have just been one of those titles where slow first issue, and it'll just pick up from there. It's a pretty brand new concept as far as like what this version of like the Psylord even is. And
Man, I
then
mean, it's a mystery story, you know? I mean, like we gotta like unfold it as we go. And I think that we, are sitting at a spot now where we're still, I think within the first four issues, we'll have a, much better idea of what's actually going on. But I think
oh
even at that point, there's still going to be a lot left to be revealed and a lot of questions unanswered.
yeah,
So, um, I think that that's part of what makes this book feel a little hard to hold on to because we don't really know what's going on. I mean, everybody's talking about the Psylords and the Star Watchers, and then we got this uh,
the
Cthulhu looking dude, as you said, telling them about how, his people have been there for generations and they're going to end up breeding and having kids and living there for generations. And the cat people have apparently been there for a really long time. And, so like there's something more going on here than just the people in a prison, because when they said, oh, we were being held captive when we broke out, that other guy wasn't like, oh, crazy, you broke out of prison. He was like, okay, cool. So you're new here,
yeah.
like it was I don't know. The whole thing is crazy. So, and then at the end of the issue, again, spoiler alert, but the end of the issue, the guy that they watched die in the first issue pops right
Scion.
back up. Scion, yeah. And he's like, I'm going to teach you. And they're like, wait a second.
Did
So,
we just
yeah, I
watch him
mean,
die?
yeah, exactly. This is just crazy. Like, that's why I said right at the beginning, shit's crazy, man. This whole book is just a, it's an out of control roller coaster ride, man. And the thing is, like, you can't see the track in front of you, so you have no idea if it's actually going to be a fun ride or if it's going to be terrible, you
Well,
know?
I think one thing that really kind of makes this a little bit different than the average Valiant book too is that everything with this issue, or not with this issue, but this whole story is new territory, new characters, new setting, everything. And even like when I think about like Divinity, and Divinity was like a brand new character, unlike anything we had at the time. We still had Earth, we had familiar surroundings, we had a somewhat familiar history of the world at that point, and then him just a part of it, and then his experience just grew from that. Whereas this, we don't know where they're at. We're not familiar with these characters at all, and there's definitely some kind of a mystery going on as to like how they got where they are, why this has happened to them, who Scion is, where the hell they're even at, which I might have already said. But it's pretty intriguing, you know. Um, there's just a. I mean, I feel like with me, it's just like there. It's so unfamiliar that like I have had to take a couple times to read through the issues just to kind of see if I'm picking up on anything extra on those second reads, just to kind of help. But it's pretty solid. For me, I'm gonna go about a 3.75 on this. The art is great. There's a lot of mystery here. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna go 4. I like it a little more than that. You know, it's pretty good. And again, like like I said the last time when we talked about the first issue, and I said this earlier, I'm just hoping this is one of those books where it starts out a little slow and it just picks up the pace real fast, and it's just like, wow, like hard to keep. I can't wait for the next issue. Give me more. Give me more.
So I'm at a point where I'm with you 100% a 4. I think that's a really solid, well-deserved score. But I also think that while there's potential this story could end up not being great, there's a lot of potential that depending on where this goes, we're going to look back and love these first issues much more than we do now. I think
Yeah,
because, like you said, this is such new territory. I think that the closest thing that you could compare this to in previous, Valiant releases, VEI releases, would be Britannia, right? Because Britannia was brand new characters in a setting that no other Valiant story had taken place, you
yeah,
know, with a
that's
complete
a good
cast of
observation.
characters.
I think.
Yeah. So this is again a setting where no other Valiant character has gone, with a cast of completely new Valiant characters, and the characters themselves don't know what's going on, and we're getting the story from their perspective. So yeah, we have no idea what's happening. We have no frame of reference right now, and that's what makes it feel so weird. I think that the fact that the first issue didn't completely fall apart is a testament to really good writing, because writing that seems like a really tough challenge, and especially to do it, like I said, from that mystery kind of how's the story going to unfold standpoint. I don't know. For me, yeah, I mean, this is a 4, like I said. Definitely a really solid book, and something that I'm going to be looking forward to, because my understanding is that this is going to be 12 issues and then it's supposed to, continue into other things from there. I guess I don't really know if that's what's actually happening, but I hope so.
Yeah. So one thing I from the chat, Ryan Pond commented that he thought the dialogue bubbles could have been a little broken up better, and the dialogue didn't have any unique voices. And I do agree with the dialogue a little bit, just because we're still trying to figure out who these characters are. But again, I think like let's see what happens with this over the next couple of issues. Also, oh, I just lost my train of thought. Never mind. But I do agree with like the voices. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Fred Van Lente writing this. I think like I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt on a lot of these books that he writes too. And sometimes it works really well, like it did with like Archer and Armstrong, and everything else he's written, War Mother, and lots of other stuff. Maybe not as well with like Gen Zero. And I'm hoping this is less Gen Zero and more like everything else he's written. Because I mean, Gen Zero was all right, but I don't think of a book ever as like, oh, I hope this is all right. I want everything to be like, oh, this is awesome. I hope the thing kicks ass and like just grabs you by the throat and doesn't let go. Like I want to be able to like just enjoy it a lot more than I have like some of his other work. You know, so we'll see how it goes. But I even though like I didn't love Gen Zero, I tend to like a lot of the stuff that Fred writes. So he'll always get a chance from me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that honestly wasn't a huge fan of Archer and Armstrong, his Archer and Armstrong run. I think it's well written. It just wasn't really for me. But I think that his Ivar is absolutely amazing. His War Mother stuff is really, really good. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where this book goes. Um, and then coming out, actually, we were talking about a couple of these things already. Britannia Deluxe Edition is actually going to be coming out next week. And then we will be getting Killers #1. We had mentioned earlier how that hasn't even started yet, but that's finally going to start next week. Having read the first 2 issues, I definitely would say pick up the first issue. I think that you'll enjoy it, but if you aren't sold on the book, grab the second issue, because it really does kind of get you really into the story. And I don't know. I definitely think that this is a book worth sticking with, and I think that it's going to make it. Or even if you buy the trade, even if you buy the trade of this, I think having read the first 2 issues, it's going to be a great trade. The other thing
So I
coming up,
still haven't read the second issue yet.
huh? You
I
still
haven't
haven't
read the
read?
second issue yet, but that
Uh,
first issue, good stuff. We'll get into it next week.
Yeah.
Valiant, send us the PDFs of Britannia so we can talk about that too.
And
I mean,
then
I've got the issues. Like, I think I still I mean, I have all my issues somewhere, but I don't know. I want to see what the special, like, the extra pages are, and that's always
sure.
kind of nice. I always feel like that's one thing that's really great about Valiant's deluxe editions is you get like at least 40 pages, I think, with like a lot of the like ones that are like 12 issues or more. Tons of extra stuff, and the hardcovers are done really well. They're put together really nice, good paper stock, good binding stuff that when I collected those was very important to me. So I don't know. We'll see what we can talk about next week. Killer's the only issue next week.
Killers number one and Punk Mambo number four.
Oh, even better. All right,
Well,
cool.
and that's the cool thing. Like, I'm really stoked for Punk Mambo. And like we talked about before, when they announced the Roku series, um, I'm really, really stoked to see more Cullen Bunn writing. Um, and who knows? I mean, it seems like things could be moving toward being set up. You know what I mean? Like, I think that we're seeing a lot of the characters surrounding Ninjak being used right now. And
Not a bad thing.
yeah, not at all. And I think that that could lead into a really good Ninjak story. So who knows? Maybe that's something that we'll get from either, Cullen Bunn, B. Clay Moore would totally be in it, even if it's another writer. Yeah. But also super stoked for everything else coming out. I'm glad that we got to look at a new book before it's been announced. But and I think everybody will be stoked about that. It does answer some questions of some different things that Valiant has teased in the past. So those will be answered, I think, and it just makes me excited to see where we go. Knowing Bloodshot's coming and having read that first issue, that was so amazing. Knowing XO's coming, knowing all these other books, yeah, I think it's pretty awesome right now.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think people will be happy about the book that we can't talk about. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. I appreciate Ryan hanging out and chatting with us, and Sean. I'm sorry that obviously this isn't the schedule you're used to, but appreciate you still hanging out with us.
Thank you for making it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoosier, always a pleasure. And you can't squeeze us, man. We're unsqueezable for information. Other kinds of squeezing are negotiable. um. So yeah. Oh, Ryan was saying Punk Mambo won him over at the end of number two, and I definitely think that like that those first couple of issues, it was like, what's really going on here? But I think by the end of two and into three, it's been such a really good book, and then also the art in issue two was absolutely phenomenal. Um, but again, I want to say thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Anybody else watching, listening after the fact, definitely appreciate you as well. And hopefully you will at some point be able to join us live. Definitely always welcome to jump in the live chat and talk with us. And yeah, we're definitely big fans of that. Hopefully you're also a fan of Valiant. And, I don't know why you would be listening to us if you weren't, but hopefully you are. And, listen to us and read the books along with us and talk about them. And, I think that we should, you know, do something. I can't talk. Again, just going to drag on forever. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. This has been Get Valiant number 126. Signing off, I'm Eric Baumgard.
And I'm Josh Rathman, and this is Archer.
Archer! Hashtag stay valiant.
Hashtag stay valiant.